Hey everyone, I'm Jason Peacock, and this is my channel, Jason Talks About Games. This is simply a loose blog where I discuss the games I've been playing this week with my family or my game group and give you my thoughts on them. The reason I do this channel is because I love reading about these similar things on BGG so much. So, let's get into it. First thing I like to do is talk about the most interesting bit of gaming news I've heard this week, or week and a half, or however long it takes me to put one of these out. I try and do one every week, and as my subscribers keeps growing, I just get more inspired to keep at it. So thanks everyone who has liked my videos or subscribed to them or shared. It's very much appreciated. I also do reviews on the Dice Tower, and I've provided links to all the ones of those I've done. Recently I just did a review of Clank, a deck building game with my son, so check that out. Now, interesting gaming news of the week. This has to be the announcement by Yellow Games of Mountains of Madness. This is a Cthulhu story that was this was actually going to be made into a movie. Tom Cruise was going to star in it, and it was going to get made by Guillermo del Toro. The movie got canceled because there was another movie that came out that was just too similar to it. I can't think of it right now, but I'll put something out here for you to read. So, the most interesting thing about this, I mean, there's a million Cthulhu games, so big deal, right? Yellow Games, great game company, Rob Daviau designing it. Mr. Pandemic Legacy, Mr. Legacy, he's invented the whole legacy genre, so I'm very excited about this. Okay, moving on, games I played. Let's start things off with Inis. I believe it's part of a trilogy that includes Cyclades and Kemet. I haven't played Cyclades, although I certainly plan on playing it. I think I'll like it. Kemet, however, is one of my favorite games. Area control games are one of my favorite genres to play. So Inis fits in, area control game, there's combat, and I only got one play of it with my son, so I liked it. Initially I'll say I liked the game so far, and I just can't wait to sink my teeth into this one and play it again. It's got some very interesting mechanics, it's got a little bit of diplomacy in it. You know, everybody, when there's a fight, everybody can fight until they agree to stop. It's got card drafting, where you're drafting your actions every round, and you're trying to win one of 3 different ways. Having people in 6 different territories, having the majority in territories with 6 enemy figures in it total. So if you've got 4 in 2 and there's 3 other colors in those same 2 spots, that's a win condition. And the other one is to have a total of 6 of these sanctuaries in territories that you control. So I like it. I can't wait to play with 3-4 players. Hoping to get this one to the table sooner so I can really get a feel for this one. Next is Carcassonne Celsius. My son Hayden grabbed this off the shelf and asked if we can play, and I happily obliged him. Carcassonne is one of the games that got my wife and I into gaming. My father owns a friendly local game store, and it was a Christmas gift from him, and all of this pretty much happened from Carcassonne and King of Tokyo. But anyways, Celsius used to play it a ton with my wife and son. If you don't know Carcassonne, it's a tile laying game. You're just trying to connect either bridges or islands, or put your fishermen down, and once these structures are complete, you can take the resources on them, and at the end of the game you get points for resources. Well, South Seas, you're sending your resources out at the end of your turn for these ship cards with points. Very cool game. Next game, Mechs vs. Minions. We brought Jessica, Hayden and I brought Jessica into the 3rd mission, the school. My son and I are on the 4th mission, but this is just like, it's like a really good book you don't want to end. So I don't mind taking my time opening these envelopes. The game is so much fun. It's one of my favorites of the year, one of my all-time favorites. Amazing family game. I've been talking about it on every one of these so far, I think. So, yeah, Mechs vs. Minions. Next is Seven Wonders Duel Pantheon. This Seven Wonders Duel is one of my wife's and I go-to games. We've played it quite a bit, and the more we play it, the more we get into this game and like it. The expansion just takes an A+ game and turns it into an A++ game. I love this expansion. It just made Seven Wonders like the ultimate for me. So good. I can't imagine not playing with the expansion. It just gives you more options and more strategies. I don't think it should have been included with the base game, that's for sure, because there's enough going on with the base game, and I think you need to play the base game half a dozen times or so, get familiar with the iconography and all that. I still got to look up what all the different science tokens do every game. I don't have those dialed in yet. But the addition of the Pantheon, these special abilities you can end up buying in the second age, it's great. There's not too many where your choices are overwhelming, and it doesn't take more than a few games to get to know what all the cards do. Love it, love it, love it. Seven Wonders Duel Pantheon. Anybody who's a fan of Seven Wonders Duel, this is a must-buy in my opinion. Next, I played a game of Onitama. This was with my son Hayden. I finally got dealt the Tiger, which in our opinion is like the ultimate card. If Tiger's out there, the game just gets more exciting for some reason. I had the Tiger to start, and I blew it. My son I had to use the Tiger to back out of a situation, and 2 rounds later, my son took the game. I'm proud of him. Proud of him for winning, because this is my kind of game. Like, I was a big chess player, and I love Onitama, and I'm just filled with pride when my son beats me with me trying my hardest. Onitama, little 15 to 20 minute abstract strategy game in the Dice Towers Essential line. It says it right on the box, an essential. For me, this is an essential game. Mycroft versus Holmes. This is a game I got in because I heard a couple of good things about it. It's a 2-player worker placement game. Mycroft is trying to prove this one guy guilty, and Sherlock is trying to prove that he's innocent. And each round, a new suspect comes up, and that's essentially a new action space. So you are placing workers and basically doing set collection off these cards that have several different types of clues. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points in clues is the winner, and you get points for having like the majority of a certain type of clue. Really cool game. I only played it once, but I'll definitely be playing this again. It's one of those games that's just going to get really competitive as you get familiar with what all the different cards do. But like a lot of these types of games, it's going to live or die based on how much my wife likes it, because she is the target audience for me for a game like this. Okay. Next we have Potion Explosion. Still have to show this to Jess, but another one Hayden pulled out to play. This game I just continue to like the more and more I play it. I was pretty lukewarm on it the first game, but I don't know what it is. It gets more, I don't know. The more I play this game, the more I like it. The more familiar I get with the different potions and their abilities. I think it's because you just start chaining together these great combinations. It's a really nice streamlined game. Potion Explosion. It's going to be a hit with Jess when Hayden and I get a chance to show it to her. Okay, moving on. We have Star Realms Colony Wars. Again, played with my son Hayden. I think he was my primary gaming partner this week I've been playing. He enjoyed Clank so much, and he took to it so well. We had so much fun with Clank, this deck building game. I decided, hey, I have a really cool classic deck building I want to show you, Star Realms. He was a little intimidated at first, but I assured him, I said, if you understand Clank, you're going to get this no problem. And sure enough, he did. He had fun with it. When Hero Realms comes in, I think he's gonna like that theme a little bit more. And also, as a side note, he liked Clank so much, this deck builder with a board, it inspired me to order Titans of the Underdark, another deck building game with a board that's area control. So now I'm very excited about this one, where I wasn't really until I played Clank. So I did a review of Clank on the Dice Tower, so check that out. There's a link to it in my playlist down below, the Dice Tower video reviews. Adrenaline. This is a Euro game dressed up as an Amerithrash game. It's like a first-person shooter. Everybody's running around an arena, grabbing weapons, shooting other people, getting points based on how much damage you're doing. You're essentially just playing these weapon cards, adding your colored cubes or blood drops onto their player boards, and once they are killed, majority of blood drops on that board scores the most points. So it's an area majority game, but the areas are moving around trying to shoot you. It's brilliant. Adrenaline, I love it. It's my Blender's Best of the Month, so check that out on the Dice Tower. I will link that down here. Next up, Oceanos. Now I got this game because I heard a lot of good things about it. I'm really liking card drafting these days. I played it 2 or 3 times with Hayden, and I was able to introduce this to my wife Jess, and it was cool. It didn't set off any fireworks or anything like that, but like many games, it takes a few plays to really kind of get into it, develop a strategy, have some familiarity in what you're going to do. She did pretty good. She was drafting like for the corals, which is a good first-time strategy. I've only played this game 2-player so far, and it's got a really cool cutthroat 2-player variant that's not just like a tacked-on variant like something like Seven Wonders with a dummy hand. No, it's cool because you have the ability to give one of your discarded cards to your opponent, thereby controlling what their options are. You have a certain amount of cards you can look at each round to draft based on how many periscopes on your submarine, which can be upgraded. So when you can give one of your cards that you know they're not going to have any use for to them, you're cutting them off a little bit. It's really cool. If you like Seven Wonders, then this Oceanos by Antoine Bauza, I think. Antoine Bauza? Yes. Same designer as Seven Wonders. I think anyone who likes Seven Wonders will enjoy this game. Next game, Codex. I have been frothing at the mouth to get this game played. I started off as a hardcore Magic player when I was a teenager, and area control and dueling card games are probably my 2 favorite styles of games. So I first started with the core set with Jess, and it was a little overwhelming the first game. So I got the starter sets in. We just played 1 hero versus 1 hero. We gave it another chance. She ended up beating me, which always helps. Not that I let her win, but it always helps her get into a game when she can snag off a win right away. And the game really just opened up the possibilities. I'm like, yes, this game is going to be good. I also played the starter game with my son Hayden, and we're just doing 1 deck at a time. It's not too complicated. 1 hero at a time, sorry. Because there's only 12 different cards outside of your starting cards with 2 copies each. So a couple plays, or even 1 play, you start getting familiar with each of the hero decks. This is a totally complete game. It's not collectible. You don't have to worry about new mechanics always being introduced. If you like Magic the Gathering style games, then this game's a beauty. I can't wait to just get familiar with this game and start getting into these big epic battles with 3 heroes. I'm really looking forward to it. So that's Codex. Last on the list is another game my son pulled off the shelf, and that is Dice Masters. We haven't played this in a long time. I've got tons of Dice Master stuff. DC, Marvel, Dungeons and Dragons. I just gave up at a certain point. It's just too much content. Too much for a collectible game, but I've got enough content to play for the rest of my life. I like Dice Masters fine. It's just me, Jess, and Hayden really. There's no community of it here. I would love if I had some friends that were Dice Masters players and I can really get some competitive games in where I can pick my deck and face off my best combinations against someone else. I just don't have that. but I'm still having a great time playing this with Jessica and Hayden. So that's everything I've played this week. This is my shelf of shame, I guess. I don't want to call that. Well, here's my shelf of games that I need to play more. I need to play, at least I haven't played yet, or I've played with Hayden and I haven't shown Jess yet. So this is what I'm trying to get to the table. And my question of the week. This isn't necessarily something I'm going to do every week, but I will be doing my top 10 games of 2016 for the Dice Tower. So I'm just curious to hear what all of your top 2016 board games are. Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, give me that like, love, and consider subscribing and sharing with your friends. Thanks, everyone.